Everyone, my name is Dilpreet and you're watching Dilpreet Speaks. If you look around a world map, China and Latin America seems two completely different worlds. They are separated by the oceans, languages, and the cultures. But behind the scene, something big is happening. Something that is changing the global politics and trade and even the people's daily lives. For the last 2 decades, China has quietly become one of the most powerful players in Latin America. From highways in Peru, copper mines in Chile, soybean fields in Brazil, ports in Argentina, to the night 5G network in Mexico, China is everywhere. And this story isn't about the business, it's about influence, it's about power, it's about diplomacy, it's about the future of the Western Hemisphere. Video, we'll explore why China is in Latin America, what it wants, how Latin American countries are responding, and what it means to the United States and the region of the world. Let's get started. So the thing is, why China want to be in Latin America? China's interest in Latin America began risingly sharply in early 2000s. But the reason goes much deeper than simple trade. China's economy needs massive amount of raw materials, things like copper, iron, lithium oil, soybean, and beef. And Latin America has all of them in abundance. At the same time, Latin American countries need infrastructure, investment, loans, something China is very willing to provide quickly. Without the political conditions that often come with Western loans, this created a perfect match. China wants resources, Latin America wants development, both sides benefit, at least on the surface. Another major reason is geopolitical. China wants to increase its influence globally, and Latin America is an ideal place. Right in the backyard of the United States for over a century, the United States considered Latin America its sphere of influence, but China's arrival has disrupted the old balance. Number one, boom in trade. 20 years ago, trade was between China and Latin America, barely noticeable. But today, China is the top trading partner for major economies like Brazil, Peru, Chile. Chinese demand for soybean has transformed Brazil's agriculture sector. Copper prices skyrocketed thanks to the Chinese industries, benefiting Chile and Peru. But this trade boom also created vulnerabilities. Many Latin American countries now depend heavily on exporting raw materials to China. If China's economy slows down, Latin America feels the shock immediately. There's also a fear that it creates neo-colonial pattern. Latin America sending raw goods, China sending manufacturing products. Number 3 is China's infrastructure and investment. One of the most visible signs of China's presence in Latin America infrastructure are roads, bridges, airports, power plants, ports, and railways. These projects often fall under China's Belt and Road Initiative project. Even though not every Latin American country has officially joined it, for example, in Argentina, China is financing dams and nuclear projects. In Peru, a massive new port called Chancay, partially owned by a Chinese company, is said to be transformed Pacific trades. In Brazil, China's investment have gone deep into the energy, electricity distribution, and agriculture. In Panama, Chinese companies have been involved in port and logistics and development near the Panama Canal. These investments bring new jobs and development, but they also bring concerns about debt, political influence, and China's gaining strategic control of key infrastructure. China's fear that if countries can't repay loans, China might seize control of the assets, similar to what happened in Sri Lanka with Hambantota port. Number 4 is China's technology in Latin America. China isn't just exporting products, it's exporting technology ecosystem. Hawaii and ZTE dominate much of the region's telecom infrastructure, especially 4G and now 5G networks. Latin American governments choose Chinese tech for one main reason. It's cheaper and come with financing. But US officials have warned that these systems could enable surveillance, data control, or political influence. China has also invested in satellite technology in Argentina, smart city surveillance system in Ecuador, Bolivia, and Brazil, digital payment platforms, e-commerce expansions through companies like Alibaba. Number 5, China's diplomatic strategy. China's diplomacy in Latin America works differently from the West. Instead of political pressure, China focuses on respect, partnership, and promises of investment. Many Latin American leaders appreciate this approach. China also uses diplomatic incentives. Countries that recognize Taiwan instead of China face pressure. Over the last decade, Panama, El Salvador, the Dominican Republic, and the Honduras switched recognition from Taiwan to China, partially motivated by the promise of the investment and the trade benefits. China also engages culturally, building Confucius institutes, offering scholarships, hosting political leaders, investing in media partnership. All of this creates soft power, making China appear as a friendly partner rather than a geopolitical rival. Number 6 is the United States reaction. For the United States, China's role in Latin America is a strategic challenge. Washington is used to bring dominant power in the region. Now China is building ports, 5G networks, and military cooperation programs right next door. The US has responded with warnings about debt traps, data security, national security concerns, but many Latin American leaders feel the US comes with criticisms and conditions, while China comes with money and fast construction. This has created a competition that Latin America countries sometimes use their advantage, playing both sides to get better deals. Number 7, Latin America's perspective. From the viewpoint of Latin American countries, China offers something different from US. No interference in domestic politics as the US does. Fast loans, they give very fast loans. Infrastructure with fewer bureaucratic delays. Large markets for export. But not everyone in the region is supportive. There are concerns over environmental damages from the mining, labor disputes with Chinese companies, over dependence on Chinese credit, loss of sovereignty in strategic industries, pressure to align Chinese foreign policy. So the region is divided. Some fully embrace China, others are cautious. So, number 8 is China's future in Latin America. China's presence in Latin America is still growing, and it's likely to become even more influential in coming decades. Here are the key areas to watch. Number 1 is lithium. Latin America's Lithium Triangle, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, holds more than half of the world's lithium. China is already heavily investing because lithium is crucial for electric vehicle batteries, for our phone batteries, for our EVs. Number 2 is renewable energy. Chinese companies are dominating solar power, wind farms, and electric buses in cities like Santiago and Bogota. Number 3 is agriculture. China will need more food, meaning more farmland purchases and more trade agreements, and possibly more control over supply chains. China has also opened satellite ground stations and offered military equipment to several countries. This is subtle, but it's a strategic important. Number 5 is digital influence. With China's 5G networks, surveillance systems, and e-commerce platforms, China may shape the digital infrastructure across the region for decades. In short, China is positioning itself to be economic, political, and technological partner across Latin American, potentially challenging the US dominance. So, in the conclusion of this story, the story of China in Latin America isn't simple. It's not about just the money or politics, it's about shifting the world order. From Latin American countries, China represents opportunity, risk, transformation all at the once. For China, it's a gateway to resources, influence, and global power. And for United States, it's a wake-up call. The Western Hemisphere is no longer a one-player field. As China continues to grow, so will the presence in Latin America. The big question is whether this new relationship will bring long-term development cooperation or whether it will create new dependence and tensions. Only time will tell. Thank you. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment in the comment section. See you in next video.